Hello, everybody. It's 6:53 p.m. Central Time on the 16th of November, 2022. It's Wednesday here in the United States. Hope you're doing well. Got an update for everybody. We need to get up to speed as to what's going on. A significant sized earthquake, the biggest in Texas's state history, or maybe possibly as long as Texas has even been there. For the United States, that is. So even before 5.4 to 5.9 earthquake, 6.0 range came rolling in right along the western edge of the North American craton. And the craton is something we're going to be talking about throughout the rest of this update. So remember this diagram here on the screen that shows the arrows coming in from the west coast and going down to Texas. Let me turn on a display capture as well so that you can see what I see just a little bit better. So there's some debate on this, whether or not it's mid-range 5 or upper 5. We could go look at the station list from the USGS. Again, it's on the edge of the craton, and it is the largest earthquake in many years. It's the largest earthquake in Texas in the entire time I've been here online. And now in state history, there is, again, we could go back and look and see if there's been any others very far in the past. But I'll just tell you, we don't have normally this level of activity down in Texas. Let's go down and take a look and see what's at the earthquake epicenter, and then go look across the rest of the craton. Now, looking down here, you're going to see these little lakes, these man-made lakes, and you'll see that they're taking pipeline or tubing that comes out of the lake and goes over to tanks, and then the tanks are going over to other points that look like they're going into the center of the ground, and they're drill points. What they do is they'll take the water, mix it with chemicals in the tanks, and put it down into the ground in order to break apart the shale to release oil and gas in a process called fracking and wastewater disposal when they leave the water down in the ground full of the chemicals. Now, over to the east, just a few miles, you can really see how many oil wells we have here. So we're not really dealing with much fracking here, I don't think. It's more oil drilling, oil wells, and wastewater disposal, which is a form of fracking. Here's a compressing station or a condensing station where they will put that into a pipeline and press it off and out for processing. Now look how many different drill points there are here. Just you start to get the picture of how many there are. It's insane. Again, these are the oil fields of Texas. And we go across, and we've got, again, tens of thousands of drill points. Once you get over to here, whole Texas counties have been done this way with drill points. Whole counties. I'm just going on and on and on. Again, you get the picture. Here's what a town looks like, and then here's the drill points on all sides. So I'm just randomly going, and just keep going, and stop, you see, Texas. The whole thing has been drilled over to the edge of the craton. So, craton's moving. 5.4 earthquake, pretty big. Well, the biggest in very long time. So, in the past, we have seen activity develop out, for instance, on the edge of the craton in Colorado. Look just north of Texas, and there's Colorado. And the edge of the craton comes right out of Colorado and goes over to Texas, Oklahoma, and the East Coast. 2011, a 5.9 earthquake struck right here at the Colorado-New Mexico border. And 12 hours later, a 5.9 earthquake struck over next to the nuclear power plant over in Virginia, at Mineral, Virginia. Cuckoo Nuclear Power Plant, I think it's what it was called. But now we have a 5.4 on the edge of the craton, and we would look over to the East Coast for potential large earthquake activity from the New Madrid over to the earthquake all the way up in the northeast by Vermont, New Hampshire. We'd watch for the next several days for a similar sized earthquake to strike over on the East Coast. The potential for a 5 on the East Coast does exist now. And we watch between our current sets of earthquakes. So we watch between the New Madrid and the 3.0. We look for that middle point, which if we go down and around the bend of the plate, down through the south, I think it's pretty obvious, halfway point brings us right back into Virginia again. So going down and around and back up to the north, halfway point between these two brings us right in here. So I'm going to warn the East Coast, for 5.0 level activity potential for the next several days going into this next week. 7 days from now is what we'll watch for. Big 5 on the West Coast. Where did it come from? How about a big amount of movement over on the West Coast all the way out off the ocean, in the ocean, and not getting reported to us? They're only showing us some 3s from 5 days ago or something. So the professionals are definitely engaging in some kind of underhanded behavior and hiding earthquakes. I think we've already proved that. But so there was a 5.5 earthquake striking out off the coast out here. I guarantee it. You just don't see it here on the screen. We'll just fill it in. Imagine a 5 out here in the ocean that the professionals hid from you because they didn't want you to see it coming in. Now, same time a 5 struck out here, most likely, we certainly got a 4 point something striking up here in Canada a couple days ago that the USGS ignored as well. It was 4.5, 4.6. USGS deliberately ignored the earthquake. I showed it, already looked it up. You guys could go find it on the European feed if you need to. 4.5 struck here at the oil pumping operations in Alberta on the edge of the Creighton, right at the BC-Alberta border. Well, look at the Creighton edge. Look where it goes. It goes down to the south, right? Now look at this. A new 4.7 earthquake, or 4.5, struck here at the Montana border region with Idaho on the edge of the Creighton. Now you see a 3.7 there. They downgraded it from 4.7 to 3.7. So many people leaving comments on my video yesterday talking about that. And I just have to say, look, guys, they're calling you liars. It's not me. It's not my take on it. Look, even the local magnitude list shows 4.2. They took it down, 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 and downgraded it. We'll throw out the high end, and we'll throw out the low end. And the low end is 3.7. High end is 5.1. So somebody's goofing around again, guys. Now, why would it matter if a 4.5 strikes here, then about 12 hours later, a 4.7 or 4.5 strikes here? Why would it matter? Because of the new 5 that struck down here on the edge of the Creighton. All 3 are connected. Again, USGS deliberately ignores an earthquake 2 days ago right here up on the edge of the Creighton at the drill points. Then a 4 point something earthquake strikes here in Montana, and they downgrade it to get it down, down, down to the point where the public doesn't get worried about it. Then, this morning, same sized earthquake, big earthquake, strikes down on the edge of the Creighton down here to the south. This afternoon, I said this morning, sorry. So it's going to go over to the east most likely, and we need to pay attention to where it goes. So do not ignore this. Do not deny that there's the possibility of a flow going across the edge of the Creighton. Now, that all being said, over in the West Pacific, we have a new 6. We have new 5s going out across over into the far West Pacific, new deep earthquakes. We have a spread going out towards Europe, and that's not going to be in this update. This update is just for the people in the United States, in Texas. Now, I do want to address a few things that I said over on my community page that I'm leaving up. Of course, I was joking around a little bit. You could tell if you're a longtime viewer of mine when I'm being sarcastic, but this part is really bothering me. I have to tell you all and tell you, just in case something happens to me or my wife, both of our cars have been disabled. This is now 6 cars that we have that have been disabled by someone who's coming to mess with our cars. It's very, very troubling. So, yeah. But here's what I'm saying. I don't see why I should do an update on the largest earthquake to strike Texas in years. There's no point, since earthquakes can't be predicted, LOL. Let these people get hit, especially the people on the East Coast. They totally deserve it. No offense, but you know I'm right. And then I further said, oh, you want to know where to watch, do you? Okay, watch at the tip of this for some movement. Want to know where to watch? USGS has weighed in. They said there's nothing to worry about on the East Coast. There's no progression of quakes. USGS says you should be all good on the East Coast because there is no relation between the quake and Texas. This is officially from them, so don't worry. USGS says all clear. Yep, USGS gave you the all clear, guys. No worries on the East Coast. According to USGS, there's no relation between the quakes going across the Creighton. That's from their mouth, from the horse's mouth. So do your thing. According to them, they're telling you, no worries, you don't have to pack anything up, you don't have to take anything off shelves. That's official line from the USGS. And who am I to disagree with that? I would say the public should not act on it at all. That's what I'm going to say. As a matter of fact, that's what my disclaimer says. Don't act on anything I say, because, they're going to put me in jail. in case you didn't hear. So, new 5.4 earthquake strikes down here on the edge of the craton. Let's go back in time 11 years. A 5.9 earthquake strikes in Colorado. Then they downgrade it to a 5.4. 12 hours later, Virginia, 5.9 earthquake hits. Shakes the whole East Coast. And all the professionals and all the people in the world ignore the 5.9 that struck in Colorado first, 12 hours before. Same day. So first Colorado, then Virginia, 2 5s, 12 hours apart in 2011, ignored by the professionals, completely forgotten by everyone. I'm the only person who documented it. The largest earthquake in state history for Colorado, the 5.9, yeah, just boom, nobody even talked about it. But then the East Coast gets hit, and everybody gives a shit. Pardon my language. So East Coast gets hit after the West Coast starts to move. That's what I want you to remember from this. The rest of the update here, I'm going to just go ahead and do a separate update for the rest of the planet. Get it out in a separate video. This video is solely for the people in the United States. You need to know what to look for. And the flow is going across the edge of the plate. If you don't know, you didn't know, now you do know. There's a relation between the earthquakes. It's not that one earthquake causes the other. It's that there's a flow of something going all the way from Canada all the way over to the East Coast. And that something is a giant wave of very low frequency. And that very low frequency wave is electrical in nature. It's going through the plates, and it's flowing around this like a wave guide or a river. So an earthquake up in Canada, a 5-ish type earthquake or mid-range 4, let us know yesterday or 2 days ago that something was coming in from the northwest on the edge of the craton. From the entire northwest. Out here where they're not reporting earthquakes out in the ocean, there's a 5. They're hiding earthquakes from the public, in case you didn't know. I've documented it and proved it now. Only people who debate it are the people who work there. And people who are in denial. Now, let's get down here and just quickly take a look. Over in Japan, we have a warning going in Japan for just north next to the coast of Fukushima. Now, a new 5 is struck right next to it on the north side. That's not the quake we're looking for. We're looking for an additional 6.5 or greater earthquake to strike in Japan over the next few days. That's on top of the other large earthquake activity. We have forecast for the West Pacific going all the way over to Europe, for the West Pacific going all the way over into South and Central America, and for the west coast of the United States here on land down in Southern California. I have a warning going for a potential 6 to strike. I have not issued the location yet. Told everybody I was going to wait and see what came in out on the ocean. But nothing getting reported in the ocean is very suspect when the rest of the planet's going into overdrive. The people in the Northwest who run the networks up there have no scruples in my estimation. None. They're literally morally challenged. Scumdogs, if you will. And so not getting reports out in the ocean is very troubling. It really is. Come on. The rest of the planet goes into overdrive, and they hide the earthquakes from you on the West Coast because they don't want you to worry. Or whatever. They don't want to answer questions. I don't know. I don't know their motivation for hiding them. All I know is they are. Like hiding noteworthy earthquakes, a 5.0 range out off the West Coast. Professionals. All right, anyway, let's get back to it. So a big earthquake struck in Texas. We cannot ignore it. Cannot ignore the earthquakes over on the East Coast. What you can't ignore is my sarcasm over on my community posts that don't mean anything. Okay? If I start going off over there, that's my little go-off page. It's like the equivalent of my Twitter page, since I'm not allowed to make tweets without people coming over to correct everything that I post. And they're not correcting it properly, by the way. If you come over and correct something I post with incorrect information, yeah, that's not correcting it. All right, time to save this as a video. So I have been beat up a little bit, but I'm still here. We did warn Texas for this. You can go back and watch my warnings over the last week, talking about the potential for 5.0 level activity to come over to Texas. I said I thought it'd be upper 4, warned for a 4.9. What did I tell you? I said it would be a 5, and that, again, the USGS might weigh in, and it would be 4.9. And it would be the largest earthquake in a long time for Texas and for the Midwest. And here we are. The largest earthquake in a very long time is struck directly on the edge of the craton next to drill points. at a time where we're looking for 5s or something very close to 5s, 4.9s, to go across the plate as far as Texas. So the forecast for this past week was activity off the coast, activity in Southern California, activity in Texas, Texas, and then the East Coast. Oklahoma was not in the warning area this week. So, okay, now, one final thing on the final thing. Do you have an earthquake plan on the East Coast of the United States? Did you know that there's a flow that comes your way over to the East Coast of the United States? This has been hidden from you on purpose because they said it couldn't happen. I've been doing this for 12 years, fighting tooth and nail with everyone, including every professional in the world, trying to stop it, to show you guys that there's a flow that goes from the West Coast to the East Coast. Even though that the plate is moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, physically on the surface, that underneath the surface, the earthquakes are going the opposite way. And that's not up for debate. You can see it here on the screen over the last 7 days. To ignore that is foolish. So watch out on the East Coast. I hope it dissipates. I hope this goes from 5.4 down to 4.4. But there's been times in the past, like in 2011, where we get a 5.9 here in Southern Colorado, and 12 hours later, we get a 5.9 over here on the East Coast. It's happened before. Now, the East Coast location that got hit in 2011 with the 5.9 was a nuclear power plant. And I have to mention that in light of the rare earthquake that struck over here in Belgium this morning, over at the nuke plant in Belgium. Now, people have left me comments telling me the nuke plant was closed down. And I say back to them, so is the Dodaward nuclear power plant. And so is Hanford Nuclear Research Facility and Storage Area in Washington State. It turns out all you need is a collection of the material to have the electron cascade. It really doesn't have much to do with the power generation as opposed to the moving electrons and in mass. So, trying to deny the location as a nuclear plant now is what people are doing. They're saying it's been decommissioned. And I say back to that, here's a link down below to this. Earthquake near the old Dodaward nuclear plant. And let me get this on screen so you can see it. Let's see, display capture. Dodaward nuclear power plant. And there it is, a 4.2 earthquake. And this is in 2011 in September. And I zoom in on the spot. It's literally one Dutch province away or a few miles away. And there it is, the Dodaward nuclear power plant. 14 miles away at the most. And we have many examples of this. It's not just the Dodaward. There's one at Byron, Illinois, where an earthquake struck next to Byron, Illinois nuclear power plant. I went up and took readings and measurements. See if it comes up. There we go. Here I am taking the radiation readings up outside of the nuclear reactor after the earthquake hit. But let's just see if we've got it. Oh, wow. Look at this. Somebody threatening me. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Hold on. Look at this. Somebody threatening me with a gun. No way. This is over the Pisgah crater event. This evidence shoots down Dutch's claims. Negative ions. Oh, no. What is that? Oh, no. No way, dude. No way. Look. Oh, dude. He put my logo on it. That has my logo on it. Do you see it? He shoots it again and again. Oh, no. Dude, that comes up when I go search my science stuff. Again, man, I can't believe this is my life. I got to put up with this kind of crap. All right. Anyway. Yeah, that's great. Hey, could nothing go wrong there. 7:13 p.m. Central Time, on the 16th of November, 2022. I'm doing my best that I can. It is what it is, whatever. All right, I'm going to save this as a video. We're going to go put it out over on YouTube. You guys need to have an earthquake plan and be prepared just in case. I'll be back if anything else goes down. Watch over on the East Coast, if you even care. If you live on the East Coast, there's a flow that comes your way. I've been trying to show you for frickin' 12 years. I've been shut down, and now you see it. It's insane. Whatever. Much love, guys. For real, man. Like, kind of bizarre world am I living in where I get, where it's going to shoot me up for freaking reporting on plumes from a volcano or shut me down for talking about earthquake forecasting or whatever, man. Like, dude, you kidding me, dude? Pff. I'm going to go play the man. I think I'm going to jam out tonight. That's what we're going to do. While everybody's waiting on the East Coast, I'm going to be sitting here probably playing music and having a Dutch Masters. You guys be safe. For real. Much love. Have an earthquake plan and take the time to develop an emergency kit, will you? Change of clothes, set of shoes. Make sure you have your kids taken care of and elderly and maybe even some people around you. Pack extra stuff for the people around you. Even for that guy with the gun. That guy with the gun is going to be walking around looking for food and water. He'll probably have his gun. So have a bunch on hand that you can just give it to him and say, hey, man, you don't have to have a gun. Here you go. Take as much as you need. Have extras for the people who aren't prepared in life. And don't get mad at them for getting mad at you for being prepared. Turns out that's apparently a natural response from all the normies who just can't stand seeing people prepare or something. Whatever. All right.